Good day everyone. We are diving into the world of SQL Server and always on availability groups. Specifically, we will explore the crucial topic of column level encryption and what happens when things don't go as smoothly as planned during an availability group failover. If you are responsible for data security or database high availability, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Let's look at the always on availability group configuration. So we have two replicas, JBS AG1 and JBS AG2. JBS AG1 is the primary replica and JBS AG2 is the secondary replica. So we have an synchronous commit for JBS AG1 and JBS AG2. Yep. So the demo that we are going to do for this video is related to the column level encryption, and we will specifically be doing this on one table with just 3 rows for demo purpose. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a table called table 1, and then we will take it from there. So let's head to the primary replica, which is JBS AG1. So what we'll do now is like we will create a table called table 1. And if you look at the table 1 here, it has got 3 columns. Column 1 is integer identity 1, 1 primary key. Customer ID is NVARCHAR 30 and customer password is NVARCHAR 100. So let's insert 3 rows into this particular table. And let's look at the data once. So if you see the data here, column 1, that is the value 1. We have this ABC123, and that is it has password as password. And for other 2 rows, these are the data. Yep. Let's create the master key. And once the master key is created, let's execute this query and then see what we have. So if we see here, we have this master key created. Now what we'll do is like, we'll create a certificate which will be used later for encrypting the password column of table 1 at the later stage. Yeah. So I'm using this command create certificate table 1 underscore certificate, and I'm giving a subject as table 1 column level encryption. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a symmetric key which will be called as table 1 underscore sim underscore key, and that will be using this table 1 certificate. Let's create that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new column called customer underscore PWD with the data type of var binary max. I'm just going to add that into table 1. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the symmetric key table 1 sim so that I can update the newly created column with the encrypted information. Yeah. So let's run this. Okay, so the table 1 is updated now, and if you see here, the newly created var binary max column customer underscore PWD now contains the encrypted details of customer underscore password column. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close the symmetric key here, and then let's execute this query, select star from table 1. And if you see here, we are able to see that customer underscore password as a right password, and customer underscore PWD contains the encrypted details for this particular column. So whatever details we have, whatever data we have, the corresponding encrypted data is stored in this customer underscore PWD column. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this particular column so that no one sees the password in plain text. Okay. So let me execute that. That is done. Now I'm going to view the table contents, and now what I'm seeing is like I'm not seeing any passwords in plain text. It is all encrypted now. Okay. So how do we look at the decrypted information? Yep. So what we need to do is like we need to open the symmetric key table 1 underscore sim and decrypt it by the certificate table 1 underscore certificate, and then let's use this query, which is select customer ID. Customer ID is not an encrypted column, so we can view it without any issues. And as far as customer PWD, we know that it's an encrypted column. Now what we'll do is like we will use this decrypt by key command, and then we will decrypt the encrypted data, and let's look at it. If you execute it, you can see that the encrypted data here and also the decrypted data here. Yeah. So this way we are able to secure the password by encryption. Let's go ahead and close the symmetric key here. Now what I'm going to do, now that everything seems to be fine, like we were able to encrypt the column, we were able to remove the plain text password column, and then it is all secured right now. Yep. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to failover the always on availability group, JBS wiki, which basically contains your JBDB database. Yep, to the secondary replica. Let's go ahead and failover that. Click on next. Everything seems good here. So click on next and click on finish. Let's wait for the failover to complete. Once the failover completes, let's verify the data for table 1. Yep. So this is the primary replica now. Let's do a refresh here as well in JBS AG1 and verify the availability group. JBS Wiki availability group is secondary now. So let's go ahead and click on show dashboard. Everything looks good. Yep. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to query that particular table on JBS AG2. Okay, so the failover is complete. We are now in JBS AG2. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the decrypted data. I'm using the same command, opening this symmetric key with table 1 underscore certificate, and then I'm looking at the encrypted data first, and then use decrypt by key, and then look at the decrypted data. Let's go ahead and execute it. Now, when I execute this, I'm basically getting an error. Please create a master key in the database or open the master key in the session before performing this operation. So this is the error that I'm getting. And now if I look at the data here, what I'm seeing is like I'm getting the data for customer ID, encrypted data, but decrypted data, I'm not able to look at it. So this is kind of a secured way wherein malicious access is avoided. Yeah, so someone tries to take your database backup, moves out, and then they try to restore it. And if you don't have proper master key, then you basically at least avoid them looking at the encrypted data. So now what we need to do is like we need to solve this problem, because this is a genuine secondary partner which has taken over as the primary, and now I'm getting this error, and this will definitely break the application. So now we need to ensure like we don't have this error going forward. So let's have a look on that. Let's execute this query. Open master key decryption by password, and then if you execute it, and then let's do an alter master key, add encryption by service master key. And then I'll be closing the master key. Once this is done, let's try the same query wherein we'll open the symmetric key table 1 underscore SYM underscore key decryption by certificate, and then let's look at the encrypted and decrypted data. Now if I execute it, what I'm able to see is like we are able to see the customer ID, encrypted data, and also the decrypted data. So everything looks good. We were able to successfully look at the data after the failover. But the problem with this is like you don't know when the failover will happen, as it is in synchronous replica with automatic failover. And let's consider sometimes the failover might happen anytime. And let's consider this happens during and after business hours. Then what will happen is like till someone comes and runs this particular query, the application will be failing with the error that it is not able to look at the encrypted data. It will request us to open the master key. Yeah. So now this is going to be a problem even during the business hours when DBA is around. you will not be, the DBA will not be able to understand when the failover is going to happen, and executing this query right after the failover is near to impossible. So that is something that is not possible, to be frank. So what we'll do now, instead of doing all these gimmicks, what we'll do is like we will configure this in the right way. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fail over this availability group back to JBS AG1. Let's wait for the failover to complete. Once the failover completes, let's look at the availability group dashboard and then see everything is okay. So right now what I'm seeing is like JBS Wiki's availability group is hosted on JBS AG1, so everything looks good. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head back to JBS AG1, and I'm going to back up the service master key and then place it in C drive temp folder. Let's execute this query. The password is very important here. So in this case, since it is a demo, I'm using this weak password, but yeah, in production environment, just follow the best practices. Yep. So I'm going to back up this particular service master key to C drive temp folder. And let's look at that folder here. So we have the backup here. So now what we'll do is like, we will move this across to the secondary server, which is our JBS AG2. Let's move it to temp. Okay, it is moved now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to I'll restore this one there. Yeah, that is on JBS AG2. Now what we'll do, we will fail over the availability group JBS Wiki back to JBS AG2, and then let's restore the service master key. Okay, the failover is complete now. Let's look at the availability group dashboard. Everything looks great. JBS AG2 is the primary instance. So now what we'll do is like, we will use this one, this command, which is restore service master key from this file, which is C drive temp, and let's run that. So it is completed now. So now that this is restored, I think like if we execute this query now, we will be able to run this without any issues. Yeah. So let's do a failover and fail back one more time, just to make sure everything is working as expected. Let's fail over to JBS AG1. It's completed. Let's head back to JBS AG1 and then let's execute the query to see the data. Let's execute this query. Everything looks good. Now let's do the same thing for JBS AG2 as well. Let's go ahead and fail over it. Okay, the failover is going on. Okay, the failover is complete. Let's look at the always on dashboard once. Everything looks good. Now let's head back to JBS AG2 and then run this query. And then if you see here, this time we did not get any error. So this is the right way to configure column level encryption on an always on availability group configuration. So this way there will be no manual intervention required and everything works as expected. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.